now welcome one of our most famous leaders in history to our show, Joseph Stalin. Hello.
Oh, so thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's start with your childhood. Can you please tell us about it?
Yes, of course. I was born in Goryeo, Russia on December 21st, 1879. My name of birth was Joseph Stalin. My family was very poor. We lived in a two-room hut. Out of my four siblings, I was the only one to survive. I guess I was just the strongest.
That must have been very hard for you.
Not really. I was too young to understand, and they probably wouldn't have done me much good in life.
I see, continue.
I had a very tough childhood. Like I said before, we weren't very rich at all. My father was a drunkard. He drank very heavily, which did not help our family at all, because he could hardly hold a job. But my mother, on the other hand, she was a very fine woman. She was nice, intelligent, and she always helped me through my difficult childhood. I don't know what she really saw in my father. He was a very bad man. I remember one time, for instance, when I was 11. He came home from a bar fight. I was only 11. I didn't understand at the time. It really wasn't a good role model for me. As a young kid, my mother wanted me to become a priest. I didn't really think that was for me. It really didn't work out. But when I got into elementary school, I was at the top of my class.
That was a huge achievement, right? Since it was very hard to get into school back then.
Yes, it was very hard back then to get into school.
So you had a tough childhood. How were your college years?
I was accepted into a small Orthodox seminary. I was very unhappy there. I really didn't like it. But one thing I really did like there was the rebel group that had formed. We studied the German works of literature from an author known as Karl Marx. For 18 years, I was what you could call a professional revolutionary. The records only show that from 1899 to 1917, I only held one address, and trust me, that wasn't my only address. I held many. During this time, some of my activities, I wrote for a Marxist newspaper. I organized strikes in a number of bank robberies we called expropriations. Then in 1901, I was part of the Russian Social Democratic Party. It's a fine party.
So this was about the time you married your wife, Ekaterina Spandes.
Yes, I was just about to get there. I married her and she gave birth to my son Yakov. He was a complete idiot. He tried to kill himself. He committed suicide, but he missed. He couldn't even shoot himself in the head. And then during World War II, he served in my army. He got his sorry ass captured. They offered for a trade from one of the top generals, but if I recall right, I said, "You don't only have my son Yakov, you have millions of my sons. Unless you release them all, my son will share the fate." So yeah, I didn't trade for him.
Let me get this straight. You let your own son die?
I didn't let him die. He killed himself. He ran into an electric fence at the camp.
Wow.
So may I continue?
Go ahead.
In 1912, I became friends and partners with a certain Lenin, and he made me in charge of the Central Committee. Unfortunately, in 1913, I was exiled by the government. I guess they finally caught up with my activities. I was placed in north-central Siberia, and while I was there, Russia went through a revolution where my party took control. But after we took control of the government, a couple years later, the stupid idiot presidents, they started a civil war. We easily put that down. But that wasn't without any repercussions, if you say. Our economy went in the toilet. Yeah, we had a very bad economy. Then in 1924, my dear Lenin, he died. Yeah, it took about 5 years, but yeah, in 1929, he ceased control of the party. I was a much harsher ruler than Lenin, but it was necessary if you really want to reform a country. I came up with this great idea. It's called collectivization or collectivized farming. All the kulak were deported, and immediately Peasants. They were sent to, the rest of them were sent to state farms to help the Soviet Union grow more quickly by producing crops. But of course, there was the stupid ones. They tried to revolt by burning their crops and killing the livestock. But no matter, I succeeded in collectivizing 89.6% of all the peasants by 1936. So the public loved me so much that they formed some cults that worship me.
But didn't you kill 10 million people in doing so?
Isn't that a small price to pay to reform a country?
No, I think that it's horrible, and so doth the public.
Keep wrong. Well, that is their opinions, but they cannot deny that I made the Soviet Union great. Anyways, my secret police, they made any arrest, deportations, and executions on anyone that committed treason.
Didn't you arrest children?
Yeah, so by 1939, I was declared the absolute dictator of the Soviet Union. Now it's time to tell you about one of the most evil men I've ever met in my life. Adolf Hitler. You see, what happened was I was afraid that Britain, France, and Germany would unite against me to overthrow me, because, you know, I was making so much progress.
Yeah.
So I signed a non-aggression treaty with the Germans and Hitler in 1939. Little did know that I would be the bastard would betray me, and he did so on June 22nd, 1941.
I have to admit, that was a tactically smart move on his part.
What do you say?
Nothing. We'll take a short commercial break right now.
Hi, it's Vince with ShamWow. You'll be saying wow every time you use this towel. It's like a chamois, it's like a towel, it's like a sponge. A regular towel doesn't work wet. This works wet or dry. This is for the house, the car, the boat, the RV. ShamWow holds 12 times its weight in liquid. Look at this. It just does the work. Why do you want to work twice as hard? Doesn't drip. Doesn't make a mess. Wring it out. You wash it in the washing machine. Made in Germany. You know the Germans always make good stuff. Here's some cola. Wine, coffee, cola, pet stains. Not only is the damage going to be on top, there's your mildew. That is going to smell. Look at this. Put on the spill. Turn it over. Without even putting any pressure. 50% of the cola right there. You following me, camera guy? The other 50%, the color starts to come up. No other towel is going to do that. It acts like a vacuum. And look at this, virtually dry on the bottom. You're going to spend $20 every month on paper towels anyway. You're throwing your money away. The mini ShamWows are for everything, for everyday use. This lasts 10 years. This lasts a week. I don't know, it sells itself. The ShamWow sells for $19.95, but you get one for the house, one for the car, two for the kitchen and bathroom. And look at this, we'll give you a second set absolutely. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-786-7016. Call now to guarantee your free ShamWow mop. And when you call, ask about our ShamWow shutter cleaner. Call 1-800-786-7016. That's 1-800-786-7016. Call now.
Yeah, so don't stab me again, okay? We are now back to Joseph Stalin. What were you talking about again?
Oh, the war of Hitler. Yes, he invaded my country in 1941. But at the same time, I was hit with a dreadful illness, and it incapacitated me for 2 weeks.
May I ask what you contracted?
No, none of your business. When I was fully recovered, I took control of Miami. It was in shambles, and the Nazi bastards reached the gates of Moscow in October. But in the typical Soviet fashion, we fought back and reached Berlin in 1945.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks. I was giving credit for defeating the Nazis by Britain and the Allies. I gained respect from both Roosevelt and Churchill, and I established the Soviet Union as a world power. My generals, they awarded me the Generalissimus, which means Brigade Greatest General.
Alright, Joe. We have a little surprise for you today. We found your little friend, Adolf Hitler!
Look, for the last time! До свидания,